This video is sponsored by the legends at bestgameprice.net. More about them later on. Hi, how you doing? Guess what? 2022 is almost over and that means you made it. Congratulations! It's been a big year for me. I got engaged, made a second channel, almost hit 70,000 subscribers, good stuff. But I made sure to find time to play some games. A lot of games. 44 new releases, 13 games cleared from my backlog, and some way, somehow, somewhere in there, I crammed in the entirety of Final Fantasy XIV. There were good games, bad games, surprising games, $60 global playtests, games so disappointing that it made me wonder if I even enjoy games anymore, wonder if I've changed too much. But no Callisto Protocol, I'm not the problem, you are. Your ending made me legitimately angry. But here, with Christmas around the corner, Monty Claus is here to tell you all about the great. The stuff I played this year that I really loved and wanted to recommend in case you're thinking of treating yourself before Santa does. This list is in no particular order, and if you think there's anything I missed, drop them in the comments below. Scottish winters are long and dark, and I'm still looking for stuff to fill them with. Anyway, enough rigmarole and jibber-majosh, let's get into it. Don't listen to those filthy doubters. The cult of Monty was a fair one. We woke every morning at dawn, read the 21 sacraments to purge our souls of sin, ate some grass, ate some poop, and then happily worked in the farms so the cat god could feed on our sweat and tears. It was a peaceful time, until Chase came. Chase, the outsider. Chase, the sycophant. Chase, who pretended to believe in Monty's law, but secretly spread lies through our happy family. And then one day, Chase disappeared, and everything was good again. Cult of the Lamb's charm comes from the town building aspect. It's got a banging soundtrack, surprisingly fun combat, adorable writing and characters, but its fun factor keeps going back to how fun it is to design, maintain, and strengthen your cult. Despite not enjoying roguelikes, this game joins the likes of Hades in the way it wins me over, by mitigating the punishment for death. Every time I died on a run, I would go back to my cult with the resources, recruits, and upgrades I'd unlocked and while away the hours preparing my people for ascension. Even Chase.
We're called neons, sinners plucked from hell to do God's dirty work. But I'm finding it hard to believe we're in heaven.
Neon White is a speedrunner's dream, wrapped up tight in a fun story, addictive gameplay, and charming characters that are funnier than they have any right to be. We are White, an assassin who's woken up in heaven with a bit of good old-fashioned amnesia. The angels are simpering sleazeballs, your friends are suspicious of you and out for blood. It's an interesting setup, but even if it wasn't, the gameplay would be more than enough to carry the game. Running, leaping, slashing, gliding, shooting, it's all carried along by cards that you pick up across a myriad of obstacle courses. Not a fan of card games? Don't worry, this isn't one. Think of the cards as power-ups, and think of the obstacle courses as fast-paced puzzles you need to crack with style and flair before the time runs out. This is the game that made me feel cool this year.
The tarnished will soon return, guided by grace once lost.
Elden Ring is going to crop up on a lot of Game of the Year lists, and for good reason. Sure, there are contrarians creeping around the internet claiming it was overhyped, but it gives you a breathtaking sense of exploration, art direction that keeps your mouth agape, and a surprisingly welcoming invitation to the Souls genre. Everything I thought would rob a From Software game of its magic is here, but it enhances the experience, it doesn't take away from it. The open world is designed with mystery and earnestness, so you need to conquer the landscape, not just stroll through it like other games. When I made my fiancée play the game, links on screen now, she came away saying it was her favourite one in the series. That's as ringing an endorsement as this channel can give it. In my video on Sifu, I said it was a deliberate game. Deliberate in the expectations it wants us to set for ourselves. Deliberate in how it teaches us the power of potential. Even if it doesn't win Game of the Year, it definitely should win Best Opening, but that's not where its badassery ends. I haven't felt a combat system this intuitive and satisfying in years. If Neon White made me feel cool after just an hour of play, Sifu made me feel strong and clever and skilled by the 10th, and that feeling has stuck with me all year. Across 5 levels and bosses, you will die and try and die again until you earn the right to feel cool, carefully guided by an invisible hand that conditions you to think like a martial artist through careful enemy placement, arena variety, and level design. If you like difficult games, give this one a shot, and if you don't, give it a shot anyway, it might surprise you. Tunic is the best Zelda game in a decade. Big words, I know, but anyone who's played it will hopefully agree so I don't sound too contrarian. The cute factor is on full display, but without a single word, it's able to carry numerous tones that make you feel determined, amused, tense, and anxious across a game that's as wide as a puddle but as deep as an ocean. The gimmick here is the player manual. The pages are scattered across the game world, but if you collect them, they'll help teach you how to master its puzzles, its bosses, its combat, and its story. It might be a weird comparison to make, but if you've played the Outer Wilds, there's a similar sense of discovery. You get keys and MacGuffins to use, sure, but you could beat the game in less than an hour if you know what to do. The joy is in the aha moments that come when you figure that out. And the Golden Path is one of my favourite puzzles ever. Please don't skip this one.
When you are at your weakest.
In fear and doubt, are a burden too heavy to bear.
Remember this. You are not alone.
If you were going to play God of War Ragnarok, you would have already. If you weren't going to play God of War Ragnarok, nothing I say will convince you, but I loved it. I loved it so much that I 100% completed it, not something I typically do. The performances, the character writing, and the world building are the obvious standouts, but there's something to be said for its world design. Despite being so vast, it's not afraid to wear its gameisms on its sleeve. There's a sense of spectacle and magic and wonder that shows just how deeply Santa Monica Studios adore not just Kratos and Atreus, but the potential of Norse mythology. There's no cynicism here, just a whole lot of game and a whole lot of love. They could have easily made this part 2 of a trilogy, but instead they pressed The Two Towers and Return of the King together in a way that feels weighty without being too dense. It earns every ounce of praise thrown its way, and it's a game that's highs are so high and so common that when you finish it, you forget about its lows. Play as a cat in a robot city. That's the experience Stray gives you, and it's the only experience Stray is interested in giving to you. Its number one priority is its vibes, and maybe I just played it at the right time in the right point of the year, but it gave me everything I wanted. Its 6-hour story isn't massively complex, but it's paced in a way that made me satisfied when the credits rolled, and sad to finish it. Its characters are peculiar and interesting, and while its mystery isn't that mysterious, it's interesting to unravel. Mechanically, it's not deep, but trying to clamber over rooftops and through apartments is surprisingly engaging because of how its levels are designed. It's less about the moment-to-moment gameplay and more about mapping out the best routes to your destination. Sometimes you just want to be a cat in a robot city, witnessing a slice of metallic life, basking in its visuals and atmosphere. Sometimes the vibes are enough. I don't subscribe to the belief that survival horror needs to fit into a tiny box. There are typical rules to follow, sure, but sometimes I think we can get too granular with what a survival horror game needs to be to merit that label. But saying all of that, Signalis is here to wear those rules on its sleeve and remind us that this kind of game can still terrify, thrill, and make us curious in 2022. There are plenty of horror titles that hark back to the PS1 era of scares, but none of them are as confident as Signalis. The art style might put you off, it put me off when I saw the trailers, but don't let it. It's used very sparingly, and the focus is entirely on exploration, the history of its madness, and overcoming the terrifying creatures that haunt its space. The less you know, the better. It's not exactly a Christmassy game to finish on, but in a crap year for horror, Signalis is here to soften that blow. And there you have it, 2022 in 10 minutes. I was being serious about dropping any recommendations in the comments below. Even if I played it already, someone else might take note. I wanted to give another plug for my second channel as well, Lore Dump. It's a show where I sit down with two of my friends and we take someone who hasn't experienced a game and walk them through the full story. Recently, we covered all of Kingdom Hearts. Yes, all of Kingdom Hearts, even the mobile games, and it was a riot, so if that sounds interesting, links below. Out of the 8 games on this list, 7 of them are available on PC, which brings me on to bestgameprice.net. It's a price comparison site for PC games, connected to all of your usual platforms like Steam, Epic Games, Green Man Gaming, but some lesser known sites as well, so you're always catching a deal on the stuff you play. They've even got an Android app and a Discord bot, so you can see when a game you're interested in is suddenly affordable. With winter sales about to kick off, do not just rely on Steam. Bestgameprice.net will tell you if, say, Elden Ring is 10 or 20 bucks cheaper somewhere else. is totally free to use and no sign up necessary, so click the link below to start saving money and to help the channel out. Thanks for watching. It feels insane to say I've been doing this for 2.5 years now. Holy shit. I'll be taking a quick break after this goes live, mainly to get ahead on some bigger projects in 2023. We're covering Metal Gear Rising Revengeance over on Lore Dump at the end of January, links below for the new channel, and then in February we'll be back with another super relevant NOOBUS Humanus. As always, a big fat jolly shout out to my patrons rolling up the left hand side of the screen. I hope Santa's good to you. Order of thanks go to Matthew Halsey, Sean Toland, John McGuirk, Jerome Hotchkiss, Prodigal Horse, Mr. Anthropic, Michael Chalabi, Ryan Smith, Trenchcoat Guy, Timothy Hollowell, The Heirs of History, Griffin Spencer Beam, Cody, Kyle P. Feely, Garrett Birchall, Chachas Vaz 76, Jack, Neil Mack, Sam's Forge, Joey Isbell, Aurelia, Schwabalaba, Kristen Fenchel, Neon Leah, Saint Allison, Patrick Baird, LGX, Weaving Werewolf, Nicholas Chemin, Trevor Vernon, Mark Anderson, Joel Wilcox, Pleo, Gavastrium, Blank Name, Unholy Biscuit, Uzair, Leon, Matthew Sinclair Thompson, X-Rights, Shamax, Tibby Galanu, Aiden, Jonathan Riggs, Ace Attorney Fan 621, Zachary Johnson, Dexter TK421, DNSCH, Jordan S, Jared Trainham, Damp Gibbon, Monacari, Gearing Gresty, Lamar825, Jeremy Shore, Ike N, The All Brand Man, Tempe, Courtney Wampler, Anthony Holder, David J. Moran, Minito, Callum Armitage, Christopher Tierney, Torstein Sunness, Fipsy, Derek DeRozia, Luca, Tom Inns, Sammy Stuff, Jaguke, Alberto Calles, Captain Waffles, Type Braz, Dini, Zachary Powers, Andrew Munoz, Compulsory Fungus, Prospero, Now Guterres Nopoff, Alan Black, Callsign Nor, David Bedard, CC, Jared Helfer, Mooker, John Foster Ag, Robert Capel, Matt McCulloch, Ethan, Paul W, Chief Sweep, Ehor May, Jonathan Lum, Eddie Wingfors, Reese, Strupp, Angry Optimist, Yana Grasfrau, Mr. Fredo Renton, Laura Possum, Long Cheddar, Toxter, Donis Conva, Ashley Broning, 100 Sams, My Friend Neil, Nathaniel Waters, Dinkin Pearson, Kyle Piers, Lonely Ronin, Kane Highwind, and Neve Care. Thank you all so much. Take care and Merry Christmas.